So if you can get into some specifics about, or like if you can't, that's fine too, about your trip to Mali. Like when you went to Mali, like what were you doing? Or if you want to talk about a trip that happened maybe 10 or 20 years ago where you were conducting business overseas, you can describe that as well, if that's more comfortable for
Sure,
you.
sure. In the sense of relationship building and building an experience, nothing can replace experience. And many times, the running joke that my colleagues and I have when we went to Mali was the words, "It was a good idea at the time." You know, it sure
Gotcha.
seemed like a good idea at the time. And then you get there, and it's like, oh, okay. So everyone has a fight plan until you get punched in the face.
Right, right. That makes
So
sense.
Mali is a very, very dangerous place. All right. I mean, when you look it up on, you see the travel advisories, the first sentence is, don't go to Mali. So that gives you a hint right there.
That's from the
Okay.
DOD's
So
website,
I
the
call it,
DOD's traveling, was
that's
the
a
Secretary of
US
State.
State Department. Yeah, US State Department website
Okay.
on travel advisory, right?
Mhm.
Says Mali, don't go to Mali.
Don't go to Mali.
And definitely don't go to Mali with $145,000 in cash, thinking that you're going to buy gold for, $25 a kilo instead of $52 a kilo, all right, etc. And
Right. Well, how would you even get that much, I mean, cash over there? You have to.
well, if you trust me with your cash to come back, to go buy gold for you and come back because you trust me, because you can put that in my hand, and
Right,
we
right.
have
That makes sense.
that kind of relationship. You can sign all the contracts in the world, but if there's no trust and honor between men,
Right,
then you can litigate at another time. But in
right,
the mean,
right,
after disaster strikes, right? After the plan goes
right.
awry.
Most definitely. Most
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Most
So
definitely.
obviously there were some people who trusted me with large sums of their cash
Okay. Okay.
to
All
go
right.
to to go to a place where the U.S. Department of State advises don't go to Mali.
Right.
So
Fair enough.
where did your guests go?
To Mali. I won't
Seemed
be
like a
going to
good
Mali, guys.
seemed like a good idea at the time, though.
Right. Right. Most definitely. Most definitely. So, as you stated earlier, this is a game where, no one can be trusted, so can we go into a little bit of I guess, the
But
politics?
the small margin for error.
Okay.
It's a zero-sum game. You either make it or you don't. You either do or you don't. You're successful at it or you're not. And you can get hurt or come out healthy. So it's a zero-sum game. There's a very small margin for error.
Right. No, that makes sense.
And the trust factor, with what I'm trying to place on the trust factor is one's word, one's actions, and it takes time to cultivate that. You see? So it is an important commodity to have. In that particular case of Mali, I'm half joking about it, but encapsulation of it that yeah, there's a group of business consortium that knew that the only way to conduct this business was in cash, and they had to have someone they can trust to carry the cash, to protect yourself and the cash, to
Right.
try and make the deal happen, can make it
Right.
successful.
Right.
And so obviously I made it back out. We didn't close the deal, but we made it back out, and I returned every penny.
Right. Makes sense. So I don't know if you can go into this or not, but the carrying of this cash, does that involve an international wire transfer, or are you
Oh,
physically carrying
cash,
cash the entire way
physical cash on your person. You have to make
on
the
the plane?
declaration. Yeah, on the plane. You got to make declarations. There's things you have to do.
Okay, great. You have to make a declaration. 'Cause I was
Oh
curious.
yeah. You know, getting in, that's not the challenge.
It's getting back out.
Oh yeah, that's where
Okay. Because I know you're not allowed to carry more than $10,000 worth of cash on a plane, but that's only, you can carry up to $10,000 cash
you have to
without making
declare
a
it.
declaration. Anything over that, you have to make a
Oh
declaration.
yeah, we declared it. No,
Okay.
declaring it wasn't.
Okay.
We weren't concerned about the declarations.
Well, hey, there's something new I learned there. That's a rule and customs procedures, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, it says right on the thing. What you're carrying. We declared. We didn't hide anything. Now when you get there, you don't say, "Hi, y'all, I'm here with a bunch of cash.
Right.
Anybody want to play?"
You
So
don't
I'm
do
sure
that.
we don't do that. Yeah.
Right. Right.
But
No.
yeah. As far as traveling and customs and whatnot, you follow the rules of customs.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. All right. All right. That sounds good.
Otherwise, you could be mistaken for be smuggling or doing other things like that. No, you play by the rules. You follow the law. It's okay.
Right. Right. No. Perfect. Perfect. So trying to think more about the dirty game that goes behind this industry. Can we talk more about the politics and some of the more recent instances where some defense contractors have been caught up in situations where the government has awarded them a contract or even
Yeah,
turned on them?
I can't pretend that I have specific insider
Mhm.
more knowledge than anyone else that hasn't been briefed on or read on. But I know how the game is played. I know what the process is, so I know what's normal in the process, what's not normal in the process, and some of the things that you read kind of don't make much sense. And of course, there's lots of money involved. So if there's a competitor who is connected, who happens to be connected to the current president of the United States, and riding on Air Force One and making deals based on selling influence peddling, you're going to make a lot of money. So in my particular case, some years back, we had a deal in Ukraine back in 20, I don't know, must have been 2015 or something like this. I don't know exactly when. And then after a particular visit from at that time Vice President Biden, my contract, my license was published all over the newspapers of Ukraine by the opposition, the political opposition of that time, who had friends who wanted that contract, okay, and the monies thereof, and killed our contract. Because when you want to do things like what we do, discretion is necessary. So you do things, it's not secret, but it's discreet. Like you advertise, you
Right.
put it out.
So basically,
Right.
when you initially were awarded your contract, it wasn't publicly released. But
Well, not to the press,
right.
to your licensing, okay, if you're going to move, a multiple quantities of 50 caliber American-made rifles and munitions, you kind of want to keep that to yourself and do
Right.
things.
It was on the government website, but it wasn't like released like freely in the
Yeah, I
press.
mean, you don't want your competition to know what your prices were, what was the value of it,
Oh,
what you
that's
paid
what was
for it.
released. All the
Yeah, and
data
so
gathering you did.
yeah, so I mean, everything.
Ah,
What the purchase order was for, the quantity, the price, the bid price, the winning price,
okay.
everything else like that. So, why would you want to do that? That's not
Right,
that's not
right. I
true.
thought you were saying that the actual contract, what they wanted, was being released, but they basically took
Yeah. So
all
when
your
you when you when
information
you
from your
have yeah
proposal.
when you have a license,
Mhm.
the license that you get from the State Department, right? It's called a DSP-5. When you get your DSP-5 license, all that data is on it, but that's proprietary between you and the government and the end user who's using it. The government is using it. So open up the paper the next morning and see all of that data in the newspaper and be on and hear the political spin on TV saying, "Oh, look what's happening here," right? Then there are those going to say, "Well, put a hold on that, kill that," and then what happens? So they killed our contract, and then the very same contract, that very same money was reallocated to our rivals in opposition, who happen to be well connected to, the Biden family.
Okay, makes sense.